Are you afraid of printing? Is carrying uncomfortable for you? Well, how do you carry, conceal, and still look good? Is Rhonda Mary going to talk to us about it? Because she may have the things for you, so stay tuned. She will be next. But hey, a lot of companies are so frustrated with their websites. It looks old, it's out of date, and it's not getting customers. Well, Sage Tree gets it. Since 2005, Sage Tree has been helping companies with websites that look great, work great, and get leads. Stop by being frustrated by your website and get one that you're proud to share. Contact Sage Tree today to get a website that makes the phone ring. Getting started is real easy. Just call 866-728-9100. That's 866-728-9100 and fix your website today.
So, Rhonda.
Are you in the house?
Hey, y'all.
Hi,
I'm
Rhonda.
Here.
So,
Hi.
Hi. So you're here. You're going to be talking to us a little bit about with the Concealed Carry Guide for Women. I'm excited to hear it. Can you tell us first, though, a little bit about yourself?
Okay. So my name is Rhonda Mary. I am a Second Amendment advocate and a political commentator. I started off as a YouTuber, actually, and as I was learning more about history and the Constitution and all of these other things, I was becoming more open to the idea of owning a firearm. And I simultaneously, during this process, was in a hit-and-run/road rage incident, which actually prompted me to become a gun owner a little bit more quickly. And during that time, I was able to learn so much. I was able to, because of what I was doing with my YouTube, able to have access to some really great trainers like all over the country. And as I was learning more, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is way different than what I've ever seen on CNN. This is way different than what I've seen on mainstream media and shouted from the rooftops. And I'm like, this information I have to share with other people. I have to bring people on this journey with me, particularly women, particularly Black women. Because at the time when I started this was actually an underrepresented group in terms of gun ownership. And so over the past several years, I've been talking about how to be a safe and responsible gun owner. And recently, I created a concealed carry style guide, which just shows some different ways and techniques that I use to conceal carry. Because originally, when I was learning to use a firearm, a lot of the instructors around me were male. Mm-hmm. It's a male-dominated industry. And so the advice I would get a lot of times is, oh, man, you got to put on bigger T-shirts. You got to wear bigger jeans, Mm-hmm. And I'm like, if this is going to make me not feel like me on an every day-to-day, I don't see how that would inspire me to carry, and especially women that are coming new and fresh into this realm. And so I'm like, I have to figure out a way to make this more relatable, because even though a lot of the times we see when they are talking about gun ownership on TV, we oftentimes see it from the perspective of prior military, of police. But when we actually look at the statistics, the large number of people that carry firearms every day are just regular, everyday people like me. And so I feel like, okay, this is the perfect lane for me to do this from, because, I'm just kind of like your girl next door type of image, and showing women that it can be done and you can still keep your flirty and your feminine look. You may have to make some tweaks here and there, but you don't have to dress like, an old guy to carry your firearm with you every day. And you also don't have to carry it in your purse every day either. That's an option. But even when we're doing that, right, we want to make sure that we're going about it the safe way as possible and using the mechanisms that are made specifically for gun owners. And actually, compared to prior history. This is one of the best times for female gun owners because now you have so many companies that are seeing this demographic exploding, and they're like, okay, how can we, speak to this market? And so now you're seeing so many clothing styles that are coming with your ways to carry built in. So it's just a really good time for women gun owners.
Well, Rhonda, I really like to commend you, and it's unfortunate that it took a circumstance of a bad situation in your life to bring you here. But I'm glad that you're here, and I'm glad that you found this niche and this, because you're right, women, we don't have a whole lot that markets to us. A lot of the gun world is tailored to men, but there are a whole lot of options that are coming up for women, and I want to commend you for kind of taking the lead and to giving a voice to that, because a lot of women don't know where to turn or where to go. And so I'm thankful that you're you're getting the word out there and you're giving some options and connecting with women. I'm curious though, how long have you been carrying for?
At this point, every day, it's probably been about 2 to 3 years at this point. And it took me a little time to build up the courage to carry, because first, in Mississippi, you can have this firearm because it's a constitutional carry state. So you can have your firearm in your home, in your car, without a permit. And so I did that for a little while, and I'm like, okay, no, now I have to, take this thing to the next level. And, you kind of work your way up to it. And something that's really interesting about being a gun owner is, I've seen guys that have shot for years get around some of the best shooters in the world, or the country or the world, and they're still learning. So it's a ever evolving process, and you're building on concepts, right? Because I remember something that they would tell us when I first started training. It's like, don't put your finger on the trigger until you're ready to shoot. Don't put your finger on the trigger until you're ready to shoot. And it's like, then, you kind of start working and building on these concepts. And the next thing, it's like, all right, as soon as you have your sights online and you're pushing out that firearm, go ahead and be prepping that trigger, right? So something so small like that, and those little details of growing and becoming this more evolved shooter, it's just a really interesting, it's a discipline. It's really a discipline.
Absolutely. It's a whole mindset.
Yeah.
So how long do you think that it took for you? Because like you had stated, there's not really an existing guide out there like this. How long did it take you, once you kind of got into the gun world, to kind of put this information together to where you felt ready to put it out to the public?
Oh, okay. So I recently started working on this within the last several months. And it took me, so I've had some ideas, and I even now have some stuff in the can that I'm preparing for my experience. Because like I said, I don't think it's a lot of stuff on the market out there from this perspective. A lot of it is from the people that grew up their whole lives shooting with their grandfather, or, they've been working in the industry for so long. And so I've been working on this for a couple of months and really just tailoring it from my perspective, not trying to make it seem like I'm somebody that's been in the industry for 20 plus years. But I think that it's a certain segment of women that really resonate with that, because it's like, yeah, I get this. Like, this feels relatable. Like, this feels doable.
Right. It's ever-evolving.
And you're breaking it down and making it simple and easily digestible and easy to understand. And so I think that's kind of like what's unique about it. In this particular style guide, concealed carry style guide, like I said, these are just because what I was noticing is that I would create these videos and I would get these tips of, okay, this is what you can do, try this, try that. And I would have a lot of feedback of, where did you get that holster, or how are you concealing today? And so kind of just saying, well, these are some of the tips and techniques and things that I picked up, over the years, even as, some women may think, oh, well, to carry, I have to wear jeans. You don't have to wear jeans. I conceal with skirts and dresses all the time, and kind of giving those alternatives. Okay, well, this is what I use. Mm-hmm. This may work for you. You may want to try this, and kind of breaking down those options is very easy. I get a website of where I get all of my stuff, how much it is. A lot of this is very cost effective. It's not expensive, and I give several options where you can say, oh, okay, this looks like how I dress, or this looks like something I will be interested in. So I am going to try this and purchase that. It doesn't have to be I have to get all of these things and do. That's another thing that, like, gun owners, as you're growing in the experience, a lot of gun owners end up, well, not a lot, I would say more people that start to get into it as a hobby. Sometimes you'll find yourself trying a lot of different holsters. You'll find yourself trying, buying different firearms over the years and kind of trying to really figure out, okay, like, what do I like? What would be best for me as a gun owner, right? Mm-hmm. And I just find it so much easier, especially when a person is relatable and it's like, okay, try this, this, and this. It's like, oh, that's it? Okay, cool, perfect.
And it works. It works.
Yes.
So before we get into the specifics of some of your carry recommendations and tips, I actually have a pretty important question. It's a good foundation question, and it's going to be asked by our special guest co-host, Jackson. Jackson, you ready for the question?
What's your favorite gun?
Yeah, nice.
So right now, I carry the Smith & Wesson. Oh, Lord, it's a Smith & Wesson. I'm going to have a name for you.
Shield? Is it a shield?
It's a gun.
It's a gun.
Smith & Wesson 500, probably.
Sounds good.
No, it's the
right.
MP.
MP shield?
Yeah.
There
The
you
shield
go.
easy or the straight shield? We'll
She
have
can
to
probably
figure that out.
she can probably get an easy.
She probably can. I sure hope she does.
We can't get one.
No.
Hey, if you're looking to buy, refi, or if you're considering a reverse mortgage, call our local mortgage guy that you can trust. Call Chris Wiley at PRMI Mortgage. For nearly 25 years, Chris Wiley has been helping local San Diegans with all their mortgage needs. They make it easy. They work with a friendly expert team that will help you get the best deal on a mortgage. Call Chris Wiley at 619-722-1303 or primeres.com/Alpine.
So, Rhonda, welcome back.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, do we solve the mystery of your Smith & Wesson? What is it? What do we have?
So the Smith & Wesson Performance Center. Sometimes I get it mixed up with the Easy, but I like both of those, and especially so I have carpal tunnel going on now, or at least allegedly. And so I really like the Easy because, I mean, just as it's said, it's just a lot. It's very user friendly. And so I like that. But as far as what I'm carrying every day, the Performance Center is what I've been shooting here recently. And I was introduced to that firearm by someone that was working over there at Smith & Wesson. So that Performance Center is nice.
Nice. I've shot one, but that's not a gun that's available to us here in California. So unfortunately.
Really?
Yet.
Yeah, we're working on
that.
What's up with that?
Oh, you would not believe. I think we got, how many guns do we have on the roster? 7?
Yeah. Yeah, you have to, it's pretty ridiculous out here, Mary. You have to,
oh my goodness.
in order for a dealer to sell a handgun in California, it has to include a little micro stamp on it that puts a little serial number basically on the brass before it's ejected from the gun. Well, that doesn't exist. That technology doesn't exist. So they're requiring something that doesn't exist in order to sell a gun. So we're fighting them in court.
Oh my goodness, I know y'all are. I mean, I could just imagine. Yeah, we got to get some of this stuff overturned.
We got to get you out here. We talked about it last time.
Oh, you tell her that story, then you tell her
Yeah.
to come on out.
Yeah, you got to come out here and see how horrible it is.
I don't think she needs to
Yeah.
travel that far to see how bad it is.
No, I'm going to get her out here for gun prom.
For gun prom, I think so.
Yeah, in September. You got to put it on your. It's September 16th, 2023. You gotta pencil us in. We're gonna get you out here for gun prom.
I want to shoot with her when she comes out.
Okay, I'm totally down.
You can hit the range with me, Rhonda?
Oh, absolutely. Let's do it.
Absolutely.
How about you, Action Jackson? You gonna go show the ladies how to shoot?
Yes, please.
There you go. He's a pretty good shot, girl, so be careful.
Oh, yeah. No doubt. All right. So, Rhonda, I'm curious. You know, being women, right, we have a lot of options. We have all the traditional carrying places that men do with a few additional extra bonus places that we have as well. I'm curious, what is your take on, and of course, there's a lot of variables, you know, different body styles, body types. Everybody has proportions in different places. Some will work for one, may not work for another. But I'm curious, kind of what is your take on the different carry positions as far as concealability on a woman?
So for me, I will personally say that it's going to either be appendix or 3 o'clock, just basing it on body size, easy accessibility, and the way that she dresses.
Mm-hmm.
I will always say that those 3 will be best. So that's going to be in front of you or on your hip, and obviously the opposite side if you're left-handed. And it's really about finding workarounds and finding ways to lessen the printing.
Mm-hmm.
And also, it could be you're going to have some firearms that are going to just be, depending on the person, could be easier to carry. Like when I carry, like the firearms that I have at home may not be as, maybe bigger than the ones that I carry on me on a day-to-day. And so those will be things to consider too. But just tactically, I think that those are going to be the best positions. Now, sometimes when I have on like a dress, I will do like a thigh holster or something like that. I think that those work well. Shell Todd, who is like one of my faves and does really great work in 2A advocacy, and she always has on her pretty little polka dot dresses, and that's one of her, favorite ways to carry. And so I think it's just about really finding like what's most comfortable for you and what fits like your everyday routine, like your everyday life.
How important do you feel it is to practice your draw? Because you're talking about different carry positions.
Yes.
So I'd like to hear your take on that.
This is a great question. So I would say for most people, what I would recommend is having your standard, like, this is how I'm going to carry most of the time. And when you're going to the range, making sure that you are practicing from that position. I'm actually working on some content for this upcoming week. But making sure when you're going to the range, you're actually drawing and practicing from that position. So I would say that everyone should have that standard position, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then on occasion, when you get fancy or you're feeling yourself, if you have other positions that make sense, whether that is a thigh holster, whether that is a carry purse that's made specifically for gun owners, then you also want to make sure you're practicing. And it's always good to get a few reps of dry fire in every single time before you leave the house. Now, for some people, it might be like every single time.
Absolutely.
It's good to do, it's good to 5 minutes of dry fire, a few times a week is really good.
Mm-hmm.
And even more so important when you are dry firing from a position that is not your everyday carry position.
Okay.
So those are definitely some good things to take up. Again, making sure you are drawing at the range, using those positions when you go to the range, and also getting a few reps of dry fire. So it's almost like muscle memory, getting used to where you're carrying.
Correct.
on your body.
If you've never practiced, drawing from concealment, especially, if you, like you had mentioned, wearing skirts, dresses, and things, getting to that firearm, if you've never practiced it, if you have to draw it, that can make the difference between surviving that encounter versus not. And that's important.
Absolutely.
Practice it.
Absolutely.
Practice. I'm curious, have you ever tried, for example, a lot of the things that are marketed to women, for example, the flashbang or different bra holsters, is that anything that you've experimented with?
The bra holster, well, first of all, I'm not that blessed in that area. So unfortunately for me, when I have tried to carry there, I haven't had the best of luck.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just not a fan. I'm just, the way we draw and, the way we push the firearm out, I'm just not a fan of that. I know some people that do it. That has just never appealed to me, that particular position.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It just seems awkward to draw from.
It is a little awkward, I have to say. At worst, there could be a little bit of distraction that could work to your benefit, though.
Well, yeah. I could see that.
So
I'm blessed. I just haven't tried it yet.
Let him borrow mine.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. So you had mentioned appendix. You mentioned 3 o'clock. We've talked a little bit about the bra holster. You mentioned the thigh carry. Have you ever, for example, tried a filster, the Enigma?
So I'm going to say this, and it's probably not going to be the most popular thing. I have an Enigma sitting in my drawer right now.
So do I.
And I couldn't it just never did it for me, unfortunately. Now, what I use is something that I like better.
Mm-hmm.
I just like better is the Comfort Concealment Belt, which has kind of like that same idea. Mm-hmm. You could go beltless.
Right. It's like a neoprene stretch belt.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not like, attached to your leg or anything like that. I just could not I just couldn't work my way around the Enigma. Now, I have seen some people take to it really, really well. They love it. They speak highly of it. But for me, I felt like I could get some of the same benefits out of the concealment belt without all of the extra, contraptions and everything else going on with it.
You and I are on the same plane. And for anybody listening who is not aware of the terminology that we're using, the Enigma is a holster rig system that's put together by Filster Holsters. It's actually not a holster. It's simply a belt rig that you put on your person that's independent of clothing, and you attach a compatible holster to it, so you can use your existing holster. But it allows you to position it on your body anywhere from down as low as your pubic bone all the way up to under your bust if you choose to, and anywhere in between. So it has no connection or need to be connected to any of your clothing.
Super popular these days.
It is. It's very popular, and I find that you either love it or you really, really don't, and there is no in between. So
Rhonda, is it, or Alicia, both? Is it for men and women?
It is.
It's for men and women.
Yes.
It definitely seems to be way more popular with women.
It's marketed more to women just because men tend to wear things that that have a belt, and so it's not as crucial for them. But it's both men and women. It's just marketed more for women.
And even when I have seen guys wear it's like with gym shorts, it's like, jogging pants, something like that, where it seems like it would make the most sense. I could see how going for a jog in like gym shorts or going to the gym or something, how that would make sense for guys.
Absolutely. I agree. So I'm curious. So you had mentioned it early on that you started off with the social media platform. I'm curious, how do we find you? How can we find your guide? Where do we go?
RhondaMary.com, RHONDA, Mary, MARY.com. You'll find my concealed carry style guide. You'll find all of my social medias, where to find me on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
Is there going to be a men's guide coming out soon?
Is there going to be a what?
A men's guide?
Oh, that might be a good idea. Look at you trying to put me on to some more work to do.
Keeping you busy. Keeping you busy.
Nothing wrong with that.
All right. Thank you, Mary. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for watching this clip from Gun Owners Radio. You can watch us live every Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. California time, right here on our YouTube channel, or if you're in the San Diego area, you can listen to us on 1170 a.m. We're also available on your favorite podcast platform for free. Don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can help restore and protect the Second Amendment, not just in California, but across the country.